Hi everyone, welcome to You're Not Alone Conversations. We're powered by EdSpot, the emotional well-being app, and today we're in conversation with Radhika Ghai. She is the founder of Shop Clues. She's also a angel investor. She's a mentor to a lot of entrepreneurs and startups right now. She's also a consumer tech entrepreneur because she's done a lot of stuff before Shop Clues even came into being. And she's also a clean tech enthusiast. So, Radhika, welcome so much to You're Not Alone Conversations. We're very happy to have you here.
Thank you, Radhika.
So as a quick thing, how's 2020 been for you?
Oh my God, that's a trick question, right?
I know I didn't prepare you for that. So
you didn't prepare me for that. Oh, you didn't prepare me for that. Yeah. But Gitika, I think firstly, thank you for having me on here. I've heard some of your previous episodes, and I think it's really good for all of us to talk about the person that is behind the picture that most of us see in the media and otherwise. So happy to be here, and I love what you're doing. Good luck.
Thank you.
And 2020, the less said, the better. But I have to say that in spite of all the turmoil that 2020 brought in our lives and the lives of those around us and pretty much every aspect of it, it's been a good year to introspect, to look within yourself and, truly understand if that is possible, understand who you truly are. Because I think this is the first time in all our lives. I'm 45 and I can tell you definitely in mine. And so I'm sure in your generation for sure, that first time when we got to take a year out, a whole year where you spent time at home with family, and you had to face yourself in the mirror every day. I mean, literally, for lack of better words. So it was a year of discovery, major discovery. I think I discovered some things I'm proud of about myself. I discovered some things that can be worked on. And just generally, I think a year of introspection.
That's, I think, a point that most people that I spoke to in the first season of You're Not Alone actually came up with as well, because I think everyone got this one entire year to just see what they're doing. And You're Not Alone was incepted during the lockdown because at the end of the day, we all think everyone's living such a great life, but everyone was going through something intense. And that's what, before I start asking you more questions and we delve into more conversation, just as a quick thing for everyone who's watching us and listening to us, You're Not Alone Conversations is all about making sure that you know that you're not alone in any situation that you're going through, and especially when it comes to your mental health or your emotional wellness. And of course, everyone we speak to at You're Not Alone Conversations is a star in their own right and are amazing. I mean, right now we're talking to Radhika, and did you know that she's the first woman entrepreneur from India to enter the Unicorn Club, which is a massive deal. And I'm so in awe of her. But the thing is that everyone has so many fears that they go through behind what everyone sees on social media, in the news. And what we're going to do in this conversation is talk to Radhika about the type of fears that she has gone through, be it in her personal life or her professional life. And just as a heads up, this is not a scripted conversation at all. So I haven't told her anything and she hasn't told me what she's gone through. So we're all going to discover this together. But at the end of the day, please know that you're not alone in the situation. And Radhika is here with you. I am here with you. And there are so many people here with you as well. So Radhika, as the first question, the official question, and we'll see where that goes from there. But what exactly does fear mean to you? What do you think fear has sort of done to your life and the way it's impacted your emotional wellness, or the way, you've acted out in your profession or personally as well?
So, as you were talking about You're Not Alone, and I heard what you had to say, Gitika, I would say fear is not the word I would use to talk about an emotion that's shaped my life. It's more insecurities,
Okay.
right? More than being afraid of something or the other, it is, in many ways, I feel fear is something where you are afraid of an external element coming in. I'm afraid of getting COVID. I'm afraid of my parents getting COVID. Those are things that I'm fearful of. But I think when you talk about it in terms of mental health, I think it was more the insecurities. And I think the biggest problem that a lot of us face is the imposter syndrome.
Okay.
And if you talk to me about fear, whether that is in my professional life, whether that is in my personal life, doesn't matter what I have achieved, what I have not achieved. I think in some way or form that comes in and is like, are you sure you belong at this table? Are you sure you should be doing this? Don't you think there are other people way more qualified than you? Yeah. And believe me when I say that that is probably one of the most common things everybody goes through.
That is true.
And it took me a while to get there, but I do think that that is one of the biggest, they call it a syndrome. I would say it's a fear in many ways, but just an internal fear that hangs over here. So that is a big, it's a big sword that's hanging on my head and on the heads of others. I think over the years, I feel that I'm at a point where I wake up in the morning, lots of affirmations, and I believe I'm not very risk averse. So I am. I like to think that I'm fearless in many ways, but the person I'm most afraid of is myself.
Wow.
I have more power to bring myself down than anybody else in this world.
I agree with you completely in terms of the fact that most of us do have the imposter syndrome, as you put it, because even I sometimes feel that, and I've actually gone through that. And you are right, we are usually the ones who bring ourselves down because we're so scared and we're so afraid of things. So have, just out of curiosity, how did you sort of come to the realization that you have this imposter syndrome, or that you feel at times that you're the one bringing yourself down? Like, was there a moment that happened, or were you sitting in a meeting where like you sort of realized that, wow, I'm just pulling myself down and everyone over here does realize that I have potential except me? Like, do you know?
I think I want to say that that's kind of a little bit ongoing, babe. So basically what happens is that, okay, let me tell you an anecdote. So business school in the US, I went to Washington University in St. Louis, and my dean there, in many ways, I feel he changed my life. He was a man I TA'd with before I started business school. And when there was time for me to send out my applications for MBA, I applied to 3 or 4 schools, and they were ranked somewhere between, 20th ranked, 25th, 26th. And I was discussing it with him, and I told him, so these are the schools I've applied to. And the man took a step back. He said, why aren't you applying to Harvard? And I'm sitting there, I'm like, what is he thinking, right? Like, I'm not good enough for that. And it was the first time, I won't say the first time, but it was one of those times when somebody a mentor stood up and said, you can do way more than this. I got into WashU. I went to WashU in many reasons because he continued to be my mentor there. I did my internship. I applied for my internship at an investment bank, Goldman Sachs, and it was the #1 investment bank. This was an internship in New York, and again the same thing. I joined the investment banking club. It was I think there were about 30 of us, so basically 29 white men, and then Radhika. And It was a little bit weird, and again, the the interview started, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go for some of the smaller banks, and he's like, why? You should go for Goldman.
Right.
And I'm like, what is wrong with this man, right? And I did send in my application. I think I was the only, well, two of us, me and a Pakistani boy, a very dear friend. The two of us were selected to go to get into Goldman. And I think that's also a time when I realized that I have to sometimes just shush that little voice inside me that says that, let's play it safe more than anything else. It's not about underestimating yourself. I don't think that I am dumb in any way or form. I just am a little afraid to go for the stars, because what if you fall? But a good mentor or a good little voice in your head, when it gets there, says, what if you fall? So what?
Yeah.
And I think that was a bit of a turning moment for me, where I felt, theek hai, kar lete, kya hoga? And that's really been my philosophy throughout life since then. That why don't I try? What will happen? What's the worst thing that can happen? And I believe that was, those 2 years at business school with Dean Gupta were life-changing for me. He continues to be a mentor. I taught one of his classes last year, and any email I get from him till date is just about possibilities. And I feel, and in many ways in my life as well, I try to be that mentor. I try to change that in most of the people that I work with as well, whether it is friends or anybody else, that it is possible. Anything is possible.
So honestly, you brought up two things, and I do want to take sort of talk about something or quote something that my mother's always quoted to me. So it's like the daughter's telling the father, oh, what if I fall? What if I fall? But the father's like, but what if you rise? And I always keep trying to repeat that quote to myself as well, because I think it's one of the most important things. Because yes, there is a possibility of you failing, but there's that huge possibility that you will rise and that you will do well. And that's exactly what you've just said. And it's almost just like, I'm so happy because it's being reiterated back through someone I do admire as well, you. So, and also you brought up another point about having a great mentor in your life. And I think that's so important. But sadly, not everyone can find a mentor who pushes them to do better and better and to keep achieving their dreams. But here's hoping that people do keep finding support or can reach out to people that would support them. But Radhika, out of curiosity, so you have taken us back in time, but since then to now, have there been any other fears that you faced, other than, of course, the imposter syndrome, be it again personal or professional, where you've sort of felt like it's holding you back, or you haven't, or you've just been so scared to step forward, but of course talked your way through it?
I think many times, Geetika. I think, I talked about my early to mid 20s, and which is when the transition happened in me. And, but I have to say, since then, I took time off when I got pregnant with my younger boy. He's in grade 6 now. And going back to work after that was I just couldn't believe that, I would get a project. I went back on a freelance basis, and I knew I have to say, internally, I knew that I could do a better job than anybody else on that particular project, but I was just so petrified to go out there and pitch for it. And I think just over the last 10 years, my life, both personal and professional, has played out in the newspapers. And I again, not a fear, but I do hate seeing that. I hate the fact that everybody thinks of me as this person they know through what they've read, what they've seen. But the fact is they don't. The fact is that they don't see the courage it takes to get out of the house and get in the car and get back to work after you've been slammed in every newspaper, every television channel.
Right.
But so there have been many, many, many such episodes. I would say, I had what is considered in our society a massive failure, quote unquote, in my personal life. I'm divorced. That is, in many ways, it is just, it's the biggest failure a woman can have. But
to work on this world.
Yeah, but again, it comes back to the same thing. Again, is that all of these failures or all of these fears have made me a stronger and a better person. And I feel a stronger and a better person, not just for myself, but I also feel, I hope, really hope for, a better mother, a better boss, a better partner. And because I see myself, at least I try to see myself and the people around me. And when somebody says that, ye nahi ho paega, kaise karenge? Or my son tells me, Mom, no, I don't think this is such a good idea. This is just a really far reach. Let's try it. You don't know. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work anyways. But if you don't try, it's definitely not going to work.
I agree. I completely agree. And I think it also
so it's just
to what
it's just sorry, I'll complete this one thought, that it just sounds much easier. Like when I say it now, of course it needs like those 2 years or 2 hours or 2 days of festering, thinking about it. But I do want to say that 90% of the time I just jump out of the bed and just do it. And there are 10% when I don't, but mostly I think we're all on a spectrum of success at some point or the other.
I agree. And everything that goes down comes up. So even if you have a moment of a low, I know it would come up. But thank you for sharing that. I think that's really sweet of you to share that, because that's the purpose of You're Not Alone. We're trying to tell people that what they see online is not what a person is. And that's exactly what you've just told us as well, because there is so much more to you and to everyone else that people don't know about, but people are so quick to judge because according to the society, there are certain norms and a certain way everything should play out, but it's not true. So in 2021, are you scared about something? Are you apprehensive about something in the year that is to come? Other than, of course,
I am. I have two aspects again of my life that are playing out in 2021. So one is I am super excited because I have just operationally transitioned out of shop crews, and I'm on to my next big passion project, a topic that to converse about another time, but something that I am super excited about, very close to my heart. So it's one of those things that I'm super excited to wake up in the morning, get going on it. I have a wonderful team that's working on it. And then the other aspect of it is that my older son is going away to college this year. So he will be going to the US in August, September. And that makes my heart ache. So I think both aspects, I'm excited about 2021. I'm also very excited about him having the ability to go see the world, be part of it, contribute to it in many ways. But, the mom in you is just...
Of course. No,
so that was like a personal fear right there in front of you. So you'll catch me bawling in August. So there it is.
Next You're Not Alone season 3.
Yeah, please get more moms on.
Done. But no, congratulations for both your son getting into college and going off to undergrad, and also, of course, about your new project. I'm really excited to see what comes out from your innovation lab almost. And I'm really excited to see what 2021 comes. But yes, we all have fears with what the year holds. And they're a lot bigger than just COVID and its new strains, because our lives are still continuing and we're still going our work and our households and our families. Radhika, this has been such a nice nice conversation. I've really appreciated everything you've said during our conversation. I truly hope that people who are watching realize that everyone is going through some kind of fear or the other in their personal and professional life, but also sort of realize that they need to stop judging people on based on what they see in newspapers and social media, because there's so much more happening behind those doors. And keep watching You're Not Alone conversations, everyone. Thank you again so much, Radhika. And
take care, Gitika. Thank you, and thank you for having these conversations. I think it's really good for us as well to get just the more human aspect out.
I second that, and thank you again. And I look forward to speaking to you soon, and definitely in season 3 to talk about how it is to let your son go finally.
Oh my God! Yeah, okay. That's a tough one to have on camera. We need a glass of wine for that.
Done. Talk soon. See you.
Bye, Gitika. Take care. Thank you.